Tonight, I am hosting the District 211 Candidate Showcase for Toastmaster Year 2026-2027, and I am talking to Christina Evans, who is running for the role of Division C Director. The format of the showcase is as follows. Once the session begins, it will run for a total of 7 minutes. During that time, questions will be asked and then repeated to ensure that the candidate has heard the question. When the candidate has completed answering the question, please ask for the next question. The candidate may choose to end the question portion of the session and share they would like to move on to their closing statement. Once the 7-minute mark is reached, I will politely interrupt you to let you know that your time is done. All right, let me get us to speaker mode, and I'm going to start the timer. How can we encourage members to speak up to address concerns about club and district leadership? How can we encourage members to speak up to address concerns about club and district leadership?
Well, thank you, Karen, for that question and this opportunity. How can we get people to speak up? That is difficult to do, especially there's a divide here. So, as a division director, I don't might not have direct contact with members. I am working with the area directors. They're working with the club leadership, and then there's membership in that club. So how can we improve the communication, open the communication lines so people feel comfortable? One way to do that is to make sure that they're asked. So sometimes people think that, oh, if they have a question or concern, they'll come to us. Well, if they're introverted, like I am, they may just want to keep their mouth shut. But if we directly ask the question, and maybe that entails the division director showing up at some club meetings with the area director in order to ensure that my face gets out there, that people know who I am, that they start to feel comfortable with me. And then a second way to help with that is to, when someone does ask a question, you have to make sure you respond to it. You follow up on it because nothing is more discouraging than asking a question or bringing up a suggestion and then never hearing about it again. So I think those are a couple of ways to try to encourage people to participate, to have input into club leadership and district leadership.
Okay.
Question.
When working with a group of peers, describe your decision-making style. When working with a group of peers, describe your decision-making style.
So when you're working with a group of peers, I'm inferring from that there's no like anybody has authority over someone else. So you're working as a collective to try to come up with a decision or come up with a plan or come up with ideas. So I think one way to do that is for there to be a facilitator, somebody who's going to draw everybody in to make sure we've heard from everybody. Make sure that if there are any hesitations, that you work through those and clearly lay out what the goal of the meeting is. Is it just brainstorming? And somebody's going to take notes, and that's great, and you'll come back later and look at it some more. Or is the goal to make a decision? Then we need to understand what those goals are and work together to try to reach those goals. It's just about communicating and making sure everybody has a chance to talk. So I think that sometimes it's tricky, but I think that setting the right tone will go a long way in helping with that. Next question.
Where do you where do you see yourself in 5 years in Toastmasters? Where do you see yourself in 5 years in Toastmasters?
Well, Karen, I have been a Toastmaster since 2009, and math is not my strong suit, but that's a really, really long time, a really long time. And an exciting thing for me is that I'm going to retire from my career next month after
Oh,
46 years of, you know,
yeah.
working. And I've always enjoyed my job and my career, but I'm so looking forward to spending my time doing what I want to do. And one of the things I want to do is spend time at Toastmasters. I feel it's a really helpful, useful organization, helping people come out of their shells, give speeches, hone their leadership skills. I really believe in Toastmasters, and that's why I've been a member so long, and that's why I'm pursuing more leadership roles. 5 years from now, I can see myself still being a participant in Toastmasters. At what level, I don't know. I've been just a member of a club. I've been in club leadership. I've been an area director. I've been a division director. So I could see myself doing any or all of those in the next 5 years. Next question.
What will you do differently than past leaders? What will you do differently than past leaders?
Well, I don't know specifically what past leaders have done or haven't done. In my own personal experience, there are some situations that I feel like I would have done differently. For example, when you're you volunteer to do something, you should really try to follow through with that. I have experienced people volunteering for stuff and dropping the ball, and not following through. And that, I understand how frustrating that is. So if I volunteer to do something or take care of something or organize something, then whoever I'm promising that to, they're going to see me follow through with that. If for some reason, I can't follow through with that, if I have health issues or
Yeah.
something goes up, um, I would let them know as soon as I can, because it's not that somebody promised something and then they couldn't follow through. It's more like the communication broke down. And so if I volunteer to do something or I say I'm going to follow up on something, then I really will do that. I really pride myself on doing what I say I'm going to do. Next question.
Okay, we have reached 7 minutes.
Yay!
You did a wonderful job, and I've had a nice time getting to know you a little bit better, Christina.
Yeah, where are you from, Karen?
I am from Waterloo, Illinois. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.